Well, Sister Marian Batho joins us in studio. Sisters, always thanks so much for being with us.
I always love to come to Catholic TV.
Well, you have your pin on.
I have my pin on.
Yeah.
I have my National Catholic Sisters Week pin on and my Catholic TV
Well,
pin.
tell us about National Catholic Sisters Week.
Okay, National Catholic Sisters Week was started in 2014. It's part of Women's History Month, which is the month of March. It is March 8th to the 14th, and the theme is Meet a Sister, Be Inspired.
That's
Just
true.
like right now.
Meet a Sister, Be Inspired.
You know, you mentioned National Catholic Sisters Week and also March being a very special month that is Women's History Month. And the two are intimately connected because religious women have been very much a part of the history of this country. Can you tell us some of the highlights or some of the reasons why that's a very happy coexistence?
Well, in preparation to come today, I was reading the histories of a number of communities here in the Archdiocese of Boston. And the consistent theme is an urgent pastoral need, and sisters responded generously. The first sisters who came here, the Ursuline sisters, the Daughters of Charity, the Sisters of Charity of Ottawa, it just goes on and on. Urgent pastoral needs, needs for education, social service, medical care. The Archbishop, a pastor, someone heard about the sisters and their good work and invited them here, and they responded generously. I think that's the consistent theme with all of the sisters who are here now and have been here, some for many, many years, that they saw a need and responded. And they were courageous women who did a lot with very little. They had very limited means, but they trusted in the providence of God and accomplished great things. And the whole purpose of National Catholic Sisters Week is so that all of us will become more familiar with the stories of the sisters, their histories, because they are interesting, they are inspiring.
Did you know it's also National Pancake Day?
I did
today?
not know that till I arrived here this morning.
Charles informed us of that, so I don't know if you can make any connections
No,
there.
I don't know if there's much of a connection with National Pancake Day.
Well, actually, if you check the National Catholic Sisters Week website, I think there is a pancake breakfast going on somewhere, somewhere in the country.
There is the connection.
During Catholic Sisters Week, because I think there is a community out in the Midwest that's inviting people for breakfast to join them.
There
This
you
is
go.
happening all across the country.
Pancakes and sisters.
Pancakes and sisters.
Well, you know, in today's world, not everyone encounters a sister like it used to be many years ago. So what are the roles of a sister, and what do sisters do today?
Well, they do the same things they've always done. Sisters are certainly still in education. They're certainly in parishes, retreat work, campus ministry. They're chaplains in hospitals. But as needs have changed, they're involved in care for the homeless. The sisters in Boston sponsor Bakita House, which is a house for women who are victims of human trafficking. There are agencies and services for people who are new to this country to provide housing, help with getting settled here, advocacy for immigration services. You can meet the sisters online. Most of the sisters here in the Archdiocese of Boston and certainly throughout the country have websites. Most of them also accept requests for prayers. In fact, that's how a lot of people now meet sisters. They have a request for prayers. Someone is ill. Someone has just died. And they're asking for the prayers of the sisters to help them get through that. I would be remiss if I didn't mention our contemplative communities, because they are absolute powerhouses of prayer in the Archdiocese of Boston. And they have been here consistently. I think of the Carmelite sisters in Roxbury. They came here in 1890, and they have been a consistent presence in Boston ever since. In fact, they're inviting parishioners, students in religious education programs to come and visit them. So there are many ways to meet sisters. We're still very much present here in Boston and throughout the country, and National Catholic Sisters Week offers the opportunity to meet sisters and to learn more about them, their charisms and their stories, which really are just so unique and so compelling.
Cardinal Sean has, asked me to have oversight of the West region in the Archdiocese of Boston, and I just think of some of the sisters that live there in the West region. I'm going in a few weeks to a young woman at the Trappistines is going to receive her habit, and I'm going to be present at that Mass. And we were talking earlier about the Sacrament of the Anointing of the Sick at Bethany, the retirement house for the Sisters of St. Joseph. And you are a Sister of St. Joseph. Love the Sisters of St. Joseph, very much part of my life. What about your community, the Sisters of St. Joseph? Can you tell us a little bit about them, because they're very special?
Well, they are very special. We were founded in 1650 in France and came to the Archdiocese of Boston in 1873. Our charism is unity and reconciliation and focus on the dear neighbor. And certainly when we came to Boston, we opened a school at St. Thomas in Jamaica Plain. 4 sisters came from New York. And in 4 days, they opened a school in the basement of St. Thomas Church for 200 girls. And certainly the Sisters of St. Joseph have been outstanding teachers, offering educational opportunities for very young children. We have the Walnut Park Montessori School, all the way up to Regis College, which has undergraduate and graduate degree programs. But then we continue on. We have Casserly House, the Literacy Connection, the Women's Table, Bethany Hill Place, Bethany Healthcare Center, which you visited yesterday. And we participate with 21 other religious communities in Bakita House, which is the safe house for women who are victims of human trafficking.
If I could add something to what you're saying, Sister Njay, I got to tell you this. Accompaniment is a word that Pope Francis used, and I feel that the sisters have accompanied me through my life and my vocation, and I see that happening in all of these ministries that you're mentioning, accompanying people on their journey.
Yes, at every stage of life. Right. And not just the Sisters of St. Joseph, but the more than 60 religious communities of women that are here in the Archdiocese of Boston, and certainly we honor all the communities throughout the country, because all of us really are doing the same thing. That's what I try to say to young women who are thinking about religious life. We are all doing the same thing, serving God, serving the church by serving the people of God, and accompanying them in whatever stage of life they're in to help them experience God and God's loving presence.
Any favorite stories? We're running out of time. We only have about a minute left. Any favorite stories?
I have so many favorite stories. Each community has a good story, but the one I was thinking about today was Project Hope with the Little Sisters of the Assumption. In 1981, they welcomed a homeless family to live with them. They were in the Dorchester, Roxbury area on Magnolia Street, and from that welcome, they have developed a whole delivery system for social services for folks who are homeless that includes housing, advocacy, education, job training, a program for young children. That to me is an inspiring story. And if I have time for one more, last week I attended a funeral at the Maris Sisters for Sister Florence Willette, who was 102 years old.
Wow.
And she had been in Hawaii, where she had met children who had experienced a lot of violence. And then she was in Memphis, Tennessee. And she started a program, Smart from the Start, which was a program for young children to help them. They were coming from at-risk families, to help them get started and moving in the right direction.
Well, Sister, thank you so much for being with us today. And it's not only a week to celebrate, but it's also a week to say thank you. And thank you for what all of the sisters do for so many of us. And know all of you are in our thoughts and in our prayers, and thanks for watching today.